Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move. U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, should Christmas celebrations in Jamaica be cancelled, at least for this year? And in the second watch, why stone the vector control workers? And so for our social media question, we ask, do you think Jamaica should cancel Christmas celebrations this year, or is it important to maintain the festive tradition despite current challenges? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, good morning, good morning. So today's I quote says, Christmas is not as much about opening our presents as opening our hearts. This one is from Janice. I'm going to say Meditaire.
Close enough, I guess. Yes, in the words of our producer, the true spirit of Christmas is not in the material gifts we give or receive, but in showing love, compassion, and care for those around us, even in challenging times. Good morning, Jukal.
Good morning.
A mouthful there,
Definitely.
but meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
The first watch after this break.
Life can feel overwhelming at times, but you don't have to face it alone. The Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church is here to support you with our caring and confidential telephone counseling service. Whatever you're going through, grief, stress, family challenges, or just feeling stuck, our trained counselors are ready to listen, pray, and guide you toward hope and healing. Take the first step today. Call us at 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Help is available through the Prayer and Counseling Ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Remember, help is just a phone call away. That's 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Call now and let us walk this journey with you.
Happy, 'cause you hop straight.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Toussaint. Now, the Yuletide season is upon us, which traditionally comes with Christmas celebrations across the length and breadth of the island. However, according to a recent Observer article entitled Cancel Christmas, some Jamaicans have called for a reconsideration of the traditional Christmas celebration activities this year, especially in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. While on the other hand, there are those who insist that the celebrations should proceed, and for the same reason. How could this be? Well, to help us examine both sides of the discussion, we are joined by Dr. Deborah Hicklin Gordon, lecturer in cultural studies at the University of the West Indies, and the Reverend Michael Aiken, associate pastor at the Fellowship Tabernacle. Good morning to you both.
Good morning to you, Dr. D.
Yes, morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. You know, Reverend Aiken, I have to say, long time no see, but I can't say the same thing for Dr. Hicklin Gordon.
And it was my pleasure.
Yeah, but it was a good time. Yes, good morning to you both again. Lady and gentlemen, what is your understanding of Christmas celebrations within a Jamaican context? And what are your opening thoughts, our topic for discussion this morning? Beginning with you, Dr. Hicklin Gordon.
Well, I don't think Christmas can ever be cancelled in a Jamaican context.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is a tradition. It's a way of life. It's a part of our spiritual ritual as a Christian nation. It is the celebration of the birth of the deity that we call our own as a generally Christian nation, while there are other religions that are celebrated. And they also celebrate their own festivals at around the same time. There are a number of other festivals that occur at around the same time based on the various religions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there will always be a moment of reflection, a moment of family. I think we close our businesses at that time naturally. Usually by even this time of the year, most businesses are slowing down and are looking to close. Perhaps a few would have pushed back because of the hurricane. I don't think we can ever cancel Christmas. We can choose to do things differently because of different circumstances. But the notion of canceling Christmas, I think, is unrealistic based on our culture.
Okay. Reverend Aiken, your thoughts?
I do understand the sentiment of those who believe that we perhaps should not celebrate Christmas because Hurricane Melissa has devastated the lives of some of our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
The Southwest and Northwest has been absolutely devastated. And we must recognize that. And you know, the Bible instructs us to mourn with those who mourn. And I think that's the foundation of their sentiment. But while I agree, we can't cancel Christmas, not because it's uncancelable, to use such a word, but because we are instructed by the same scripture that we should be joyful in trials of various types and not be surprised when bad things happen to us. We've been instructed not to grieve like those who have no hope, even when faced with death. So for those of us who count ourselves as children of God, there is absolutely no way we can continue the celebration. However, we must, as we were just instructed by your other guests, do things differently. Perhaps there should be more reflection, maybe less commercialism, just because we're taking time to understand the devastation that has happened to other people's lives. Maybe we should share more, buy some more items that we can carry and share with others. So the debate, of course, has brought us to the table to see whether or not we need to have a Christmas that's different, but certainly not one that's canceled.
Yes. What value should we place on culture and the tradition vis-a-vis the psychological and the financial realities when considering Christmas celebrations, even after a major hurricane? Dr. Hicklin Gordon?
Well, I think they all tie together. I think we are seeing a change in cultures taking place where for the last few years, as the economy has been challenging, that people have not necessarily been able to do Christmas in the same sort of way because of the financial strictures. And this year will be particularly difficult. So as Reverend said, maybe we need to be sharing more. Maybe we need to be more inclusive. And maybe we need to actually revisit that spirit of Christmas, which is about reaching out and which is about the magnanimity of Christendom, and look at doing things different. We need to probably get back to some of the traditional cultures of Christmas in keeping with the economic and psychological.
For example, Doc?
So, I mean, I like reaching out to more people, like maybe changing or bringing more people into your home. Maybe you can, there's a way. So, for example, I recently was a part of an initiative where people are bringing students into their homes to be able to continue their education in January. Maybe if you have an extra seat at your table or a couple of seats at your table, try and have an entire family come over. And share in what you have, so that the psychological element is really about you're playing your part in helping to settle a family, to feel like there is Christmas again. You know, there's so much we've learned so much from this hurricane about who we are, and we have really realized that some of those things that we see to be so dark and difficult, that we really are a kind and loving and sharing people, and we look out for our neighbors as ourselves. And maybe this needs to be the theme that we bring to
resonates
Christmas
this year. Yeah. Reverend Aiken, you want to chime in on that?
Well, just to agree wholeheartedly with what Lady Hicklin Gordon has just said. You know, whatever your culture as it pertains to your understanding of Christmas, the enjoyable part, the part that has to do with the recognition of the reason for the season, I do believe it should be celebrated wholeheartedly. And of course, with a greater view this time around that there are others close by who should be brought into that celebration. You know, just last night I had someone from St. Elizabeth right at my dining table, and Dr. D, to hear him give his own personal experience of the hurricane was absolutely different than watching videos and pictures. And the fact that he was speaking about surviving this storm while trying to keep his wife and child alive.
Stick up in right there, Rev and Doc. We're up on a break. We want to hear more from both of you. We'll be right back.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
Save so you can make the par, travel far, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Triple Breeze Cleaning Power, each foam lasts longer. rub. Let's off and done. Triple Grease cleaning power.
Find it at a great price in your favorite store or supermarket. Formula with 3 grease cleaning agents versus another dishwashing soap of similar price.
The Sagicor Bank Biz Fair is back. 2 days of super deals. Kingston Biz Fair. Come shop Christmas gifts and more. Thursday, December 11, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sagicor Bank Parking Lot, 17 Dominica Drive. Montego Bay Biz Fair. Let's help SMEs rebuild as you shop for Christmas. Saturday, December 13, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Harmony Beach Park. Use your Sagicor Bank MasterCard for exclusive discounts all day. Hardware supplies, household items, solar products, and so much more. Powered by MasterCard.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and this is the first watch. We are addressing the question, should Christmas celebrations be cancelled, at least for this year? And in so doing, we have online the Reverend Michael Aiken, Associate Pastor at the Fellowship Tabernacle Church, and Dr. Deborah Hicklin Gordon, Lecturer in Cultural Studies at the University of the West Indies. Before the break, we were reminded of the fact that, Christmas celebrations has become part and parcel of our culture over the years. And the Bible instructs us to mourn with those who mourn. And as children of God, we should be cognizant of the danger of commercializing Christmas. We need to share more with others, especially this year. Reverend Michael Aiken, I'm not sure if you're complete with your thought. Rev?
Yes, so sorry, my mic was muted and I didn't realize.
Yes. Yes,
I
you
was
completely
just
thought?
outlining to you
Yes.
that while most of us in Kingston and the south, the northwest or northeast and southeast, I should say, have watched the devastation on social media, it certainly does not compare to hearing a personal account. And of course, what really touched me last night as I spoke to this gentleman is the fact that even in the devastation, the turmoil that happened around him, we're talking about a big man like you and me, Dr. D, and the man said, I was just crying constantly because of the fright and fear, because he realized how helpless he was. This is a big guy, who knows how to defend faith and family. But he said the fact that I just couldn't control what was going on around me.
Right.
And I tell you a quick story. For him, for example, a God moment in the middle of the destruction. He said they had taken refuge in a front room. And something he said just prompted him. Moved to a back room. He said the front room hadn't started leaking or nothing, but he just had the urge to move. So he told his wife, I'm going around the back. She said, you want. But he insisted, he said, no, come with me, take the baby, the little child, and come. He said she refused because the front room was comfortable. But he insisted, he even confessed, he said, I roughed her a little bit, And she took up the baby finally and followed me. And as she did, something came flying through the window.
Wow.
A piece of debris that landed right where the child had been lying.
Wow.
Had he not insisted, he would have been mourning the loss of a child.
Wow.
And he just couldn't believe how gracious God was in prompting him to move his family. Now, I tell that long story because even in trial and tribulation and testing, realize God is still looking out for us. I'm not one of those who believe that the hurricane was judgment from God. Had it been judgment, you and I wouldn't be alive. All of us are dead. But it certainly was a DNA test proving whose people are God and who's not following yet. And who... So let's check ourselves.
Yeah.
And what Lady Gordon has just said to us, invite somebody else to your table this Christmas.
Yeah.
Celebrate even louder this Christmas.
Yes,
for the goodness of God, even in the midst of devastation.
Yeah, Rev.
Don't be afraid to be reminded that it's not you run things.
Let me bring back in Doc. Rev. Yes, Dr. Hickengard, you wanted to say something?
No, I was saying that people need more contact and compassion, and we need to be around each other. Time, yeah. But there's another perspective I wanted to share with you that I think we haven't thought about when we talk about the commercialization of Christmas. We have spoken about Jamaica going through and it's between 11% and 13% contraction in the next 3 months in our economy. And Christmas is a time in which our activities contribute to our economy, from the additional tithes in church to the events that are held. The activities is a time when cultural and creative practitioners, the only time of year that they have guaranteed income. So Christmas is actually a part of the regeneration of our economy. Having those activities is a part of that process of recovery. People will spend a little more. They'll buy a ham that they will not have bought for the rest of the year. That, is helping with the regeneration. The preparation, somebody will get a new dress. I mean, there'll be a lot less of that this year. But we also have to understand that while we don't want to over-commercialize, we have to be now more cognizant of people and aware of what is happening to people around us. We also have to recognize that in the activity, we are helping ourselves to grow and move forward. And in particular, don't not hire the singer or the dancer or the musician or the DJ or the, those people. This is the only time of the year that they have a guaranteed income. Bring them into church. Bring them into, even some of the secular activities that must continue at this time, because it's a part of our moving forward as well.
Yes. Interestingly, I saw an article 3 days ago entitled "Wishes from the West Don't Cancel Christmas." And in that article, it said, even as they continue to sift through rubble in the wake of Hurricane Melissa, residents of St. Elizabeth are appealing to their countrymen to refrain from scaling back Christmas celebrations this year, and for the sake of the children, to bring the festivities to the hardest hit communities. End of quote. So that's interesting. Could I ask you, Rev, first? Still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah, right. What are therefore some other suggestions? And I'm asking that in light of the fact that we had Gilbert, for example, as our last major storm to hit Jamaica in a real serious way. Are there lessons we can learn from past national crises that could help persons going forward in this situation?
Well, I'm certainly sure there are. I wasn't here when Gilbert hit because I was abroad studying at the time. But I'll never forget when I returned, a gentleman came to me and said to me that he was an atheist until he met my father. My father is or was a pastor before he passed away. I said, really, what did he preach? Some great message to you that turned your heart? He said, no. When Hurricane Gilbert hit, I have a garage that was filled with cars that I was repairing. It's about 100 meters or 150 meters from the police station in the town. After the hurricane, I came down to my garage only to find all my cars parked in the police station. He said, I appealed to people to help me. No one did, except this man who came and helped me push all these cars back to my garage from the police station. He labored with me. So when I found out he was a pastor, I finally said, I will come to church. I was blown up by that. The action, the kind action of one man opened the heart of someone else to the fact that there really is a God who cares.
Perhaps even more powerful than his preaching at that moment.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So from that you're saying, practical ways, simple ways.
Help people.
Help persons. Yes.
It doesn't have to be something where you spend money if you don't have the money.
Yeah.
You just push some cars back to a garage,
Yeah.
And that opens another human being's heart to the fact that there indeed is a God who created us and loves us.
Dr. Deborah Hicklin, your thoughts on that? Looking back at Hurricane Gilbert.
I was in high school at the time.
Yes.
So I remember it was a period of transition. I think it's really, and I remember about that period that it brought us together as a family. Some of the things that, because we didn't have electricity and so on, we used to play cards and tell stories to each other and so on. But I think one of the things that's really important about this time is being realistic about what you can do. And so if there's no ham and you can afford a chicken, if you're going to say to your next door neighbors, let's do potluck this year, let's come together and make it happen. Be realistic about what is possible, because it is going to be harder this year. There is going to be less. Things are going to be more expensive. So if we find a way to come together to make things happen for the season, then we will learn more about the season. We will learn more about ourselves, and we will learn, and maybe this storm, this destruction will be a catalyst for creating the kind of Jamaica that we want to see and be. Yes.
Oh, yes.
And I think it's important that we get back there, and don't forget music, and don't forget to, if it's even you singing and dancing, let's try to be joyous as best we can.
In spite
and for
of
those for whom it's more difficult to be joyous, let's try to help them get there.
Yeah, and my little bit as we close, someone mentioned about the reason for the season. Let us bear in mind that when Jesus was born, based on what we see in the Bible, in a manger, he
was born out of great adversity.
Yes, so we can identify in many ways with that.
Yes.
With that, thank you so very much for joining us, Dr. Deborah Hicklin Gordon and Reverend Michael Aiken. Have a safe, productive day.
Have a wonderful day,
and a wonderful Christmas in spite of.
See you too.
Thank you. Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Start your journey with a JN Small Business Loan with small business loans as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million. The time by JN Small Business Loan is
7:30.
Sun, triple grease, king power. Each phone lasts longer. Sun, triple grease, king power. You scrub less often. Done. Triple grease, king power.
Find it at a great price in your favorite store or supermarket. Formula with 3 grease cleaning agents versus another dishwashing soap of similar price.
As a contractor, I never work without a plan.
As an electrician, protection is always a priority.
If you're a small business owner or an independent contractor, there's a plan that gives you protection and coverage. Sagicor Pro Shield. Get up to $1 million critical illness coverage and cover up to 80% of your medical costs for as little as $15,510 every 3 months. Get the protection you need with Sagicor Pro Shield. Call 876-936-7784. Conditions apply.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move.
Always a good move when you're moving with Grace.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at some headlines in our newspapers. First of all, leptospirosis cases climb to 84. We also see that Cabinet issues directive canceling Christmas parties for government entities. And also, the government is prioritizing roof repair for thousands of residents whose homes were impacted by Hurricane Melissa. And finally, Guyana and the United States agree to deepen joint military cooperation. Those are some of the major headlines in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll share some of the feedback from our social media question. Do you think Jamaica should cancel Christmas celebrations this year? Or is it important to maintain the festive tradition despite current challenges? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
The best kind of insurance is the one you don't have to think about, especially when you have more on your mind. With GK General Insurance, that promise is built in branch, online, or on the app. You get quick support and results you can rely on. Every interaction is designed to help you move life forward. For all the storms you've been through, we're there for you. Call 888-429-5454 or visit gk-insurance.com. Seamless, simple, certain. One GKGI.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
See so you can make the part, travel part, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Fresh and 24/7 you see. New Down Eaton, a softener with a scent for close your eyes. New Down Eaton, fresh and 24/7 with a scent that lasts. New Down Eaton, find it in your favorite store.
There is
Life can feel overwhelming at times, but you don't have to face it alone. The Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church is here to support you with our caring and confidential telephone counseling service. Whatever you're going through, grief, stress, family challenges, or just feeling stuck, our trained counselors are ready to listen, pray, and guide you toward hope and healing. Take the first step today. Call us at 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Help is available through the prayer and counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Remember, help is just a phone call away. That's 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Call now and let us walk this journey with you.
Happy, cause you pop straight.
Eternal Father. Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed. Families are struggling to start again after Hurricane Melissa.
Love 101 FM, the family station, is calling on you to join hearts and hands in love in action.
You can make a difference today by donating cash or kind to help rebuild lives.
We're collecting non-perishable food items,
Bottled water,
baby supplies,
hygiene products,
toiletries,
cleaning supplies,
bedding, tarpaulins, and small household items.
Drop off your donations of cash and kind at Love 101 FM or participating partner churches island-wide.
Every can, every package, every dollar helps bring hope to the hurting. Together, we are Love in Action. Love 101 FM,
the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Jukal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. Do you think Jamaica should cancel Christmas celebrations this year, or is it important to maintain the festive tradition despite current challenges? Jukal.
All right, so we have some responses here. Therese says Christmas is a tradition. Some can celebrate it, some can't. Such is life. Shane says, I believe that I quote answered the question. We cannot choose to scale back Christmas, but we should remember that many people still have not returned to any form of normal life since the hurricane. As we celebrate, you should make every effort to include them. Share the joy and the love of God that this season is meant to represent. Let's go to who is there? All right, this other person says, not seeing a name, but they are saying, Rev TC. Okay, so they're saying Christmas celebration should not be canceled this year. As we recover, we have a wonderful opportunity to share the love of Christ, commemorate the fact that he came in the flesh and that he will return for his church. To cancel Christmas is an expression of survivor's guilt. Don't cancel. Just celebrate it with sobriety, love, and care. And those are our responses so far.
Okay. Thank you very much for reading them, and we want to thank those who sent in those very interesting and insightful responses. And so we segue into the second watch. And recently, the Gleaner reported disturbing incidents in St. Elizabeth, where vector control workers were stoned while performing their duties. Now, these attacks definitely threaten public health. They undermine national mosquito control efforts, and of course, they put lives at risk. Yet, the stoning took place. Joining us to discuss this recent and recurring development are Errol Green, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and Professor Marvin Reed, President of the Medical Association of Jamaica. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, darling.
Yes, good to have you both with us this early hour of the morning. I begin with you, Errol Green. As far as you are aware, how common are the incidents of vector control workers being stoned in Jamaica, and why were they stoned, as far as you know?
It is more common than we would want to think. We have incidences pop up every now and then all over Jamaica, not just St. Elizabeth. We have had it in St. Catherine, in St. Thomas, in Clarendon, in other areas as well. But people stone for vector workers for different reasons. Sometimes it's commercial. For example, I'm told that persons who cook and vend food, like and chicken and stuff like that, when the areas that they operate from are being fucked, then they have a difficulty with that because they feel that it disturbs their business and they're a little bit impatient and lack understanding of what is going on. We do have instances sometimes where farmers might get a little bit upset because we try to put out a schedule, but the bee farmers, for example, have an issue because the effects of the fogging sometimes have some negative effects on the bees. And sometimes people are just frustrated, as in the case in St. Elizabeth and Port. It was just a matter of frustration. Persons were just frustrated with the condition and they vented by taking out their anger on the vector workers. So it's for different reasons.
Right. Well, there are also health concerns that people had genuine in terms of the
Yes, you do have that too. Yes, you do have that. You do have that too. But we do quite a bit of sensitization so persons are aware. As I said before, we publish schedule weekly and we do speak to community persons as to when we are going.
Yeah. Professor Reed, from a medical perspective, how important and significant is vector control, especially in the aftermath of a major storm?
Sure. Well, just one of the things I just wanted to highlight is that in our health system, we have a lot of healthcare workers who actually work in communities, not just vector control personnel. And it is very important for the efficient functioning of the health system that they're allowed to work and do their job. Now, vectors by definition are really insects, typically insects or animals that transmit diseases, usually infectious diseases, to humans. So they're part of the transmission pathways for diseases. The challenge we have after natural disasters such as this is that there's a disruption in our environment, a very significant disruption in our environment. There was lots of rain, and so with that, you have the opportunities for mosquitoes to breed, multiply very rapidly, very fast. And Jamaica, there's a dengue, which is an infectious disease that can cause death. It's endemic in Jamaica. I mean, it's always around. And when the conditions are right, you'll have an outbreak. And so fogging in this regard is one of the techniques that we use to minimize the chances of us having an outbreak of things like dengue.
Yes. And of course, that's a major concern, especially now, eh? Yeah. Gentlemen, we're up on a break. We'd like to hear more on this. We'll be right back.
The time that Grace could move is
7:45.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and this is the second watch. We have been asking the question, why stone the vector control workers? The report came of that incident happening again in St. Elizabeth. And in so doing, we have online Professor Marvin Reed, who is president of the Medical Association of Jamaica, and Errol Green, permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. They have told us that it's common, these incidents, and there are commercial reasons, also frustration and health reasons for that taking place, as well as the importance of vector control. Errol Green, what can you tell us about fogging in particular as a means of vector control? What is it really? How does it work?
Well, I'm not a public health specialist. The public health specialist would best speak on that. But what I can tell you is that the material that is used for the fogging go through very rigorous testing and is approved internationally for that purpose. We must commend our vector workers because the indices, the mosquito indices, have been down based on, because we track it every day. We were anticipating a very high increase since the hurricane, but what our reports are showing us is that it is under control. But your question is what goes into fogging?
Yes,
because I really can't speak to the intricacies of it.
It's not just the stuff that we see in the air. There's a lot of chemicals and everything involved in that, eh?
Yes, but we go to the big countries in diaspora and even Cayman. They use planes to do their fogging, so you won't see somebody coming around in a pickup truck with the stick making noise and disturbing you, because that is done. That is sprayed using aerial technology. But I can tell you that the material that goes into the fogging and the process for the fogging is quite safe. I'm not too concerned about that.
Okay. But Professor Reed, I wanted to come in right here, because what are the possible potential dangers associated with fogging? As you know, how can they be prevented or treated?
All right. So for the normal individuals without many health concerns, there's really little risk to them. We do recognize that there's some persons who may experience a bit of a challenge. People with allergies, asthma, those individuals who have respiratory or chest issues may have a little bit of irritation from the fogging chemicals. And we advise individuals to do is to pay attention to the fogging schedule. And if it is that you have a particular challenge, then either it is that, and it is possible that you are not in the area when the fogging occurs, or you minimize the amount that you inhale by just using a towel over your nose and mouth, so that you don't inhale too much of the chemical. As Errol pointed out, to our knowledge, the chemicals that we use are safe, and what they do is really kill the mosquitoes that are around.
Not necessarily the larvae.
Context.
Not necessarily the larvae, but the mosquitoes, the adult mosquitoes.
Larvae, that's correct.
Yes.
Sorry, if I might, Professor, I might. The larvae treated differently, do because we do have search and destroy missions. So the vector workers not only spray and fog, but they go around in the communities and go on what we call search and destroy missions, looking at the breeding sites and so on. We provide chemicals and tablets to individuals who want it to treat with that. But when I was in the West, and even when I was in the East in St. Thomas, you have some persons who are totally against the killing of the larvae, because they say that that is proof to them that the water is safe. They like to see what they call the wiggly in the water.
What?
And therefore, yes, because persons who live in areas where they don't have potable water, you know, they have to collect their water in drums, either by rainfall or trucks delivering water to them. They like to see the wiggly in the water because they know that unscrupulous people can't come and poison the water because the wiggly is proof that the water is safe. So it's a cultural thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But Professor Reedy wanted to say more in terms of the treatment options.
I was just saying that that essentially, from a human perspective, what we do in the fogging is relatively safe for the vast majority of persons. And what we usually encourage you to do is to open the windows, open your doors. That will allow the fog to pass through fairly quickly, and not be concentrated in a particular area. So I'm not worried about that. I also want to alert that there are other technologies that are being explored. The university just signed a contract with the International Atomic Agency, where we're going to be trying to sterilize the mosquitoes. So as we develop those technologies, then there'll be less reliance on fogging.
Perhaps need another program to discuss that sterilization of mosquitoes. Errol Green, what measures are in place or will be in place to protect vector control workers in terms of the attacks that they have been receiving? In the future.
Well, we do sensitization, and the irony is that in most instances, we use persons from the community to partake. Yes, we use community persons as best as we can.
So they still stone them? I mean, if that is so, the St. Elizabeth people are stoning their own St. Elizabeth people?
Yeah, well, maybe the stoning took place in Shiloh, for example. I'm not saying it did. Those people might come from mountainside, so they might not necessarily know them.
Yeah.
But what we try to do, we use local people. We don't cross parish borders.
Okay.
To select vector workers, and we do quite a bit of sensitivity.
Do they have security around them? For example, police escorts or anything?
No, we don't have police escorts.
Is it being thought?
I would want to live to see the day when we need police escorts.
Yeah.
I really would want to.
Because stoning is a dangerous thing, you know. As you know.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But you're gonna have uninformed people. You know, in Cuba, when they're gonna fog, they tell you when they're gonna fog, and you have to leave your house open. You have to leave your door open and all the windows open, whether you're at home or not. And if they come by and they do an inspection before the fogging is done, and your place is closed, they're gonna break down the door. You know,
we don't live there.
Yeah,
we don't reach there yet. Professor Reed, any concerns for the vector control workers in regards to their exposure to the chemical, more than increased exposure to the chemicals?
Oh no, man! So as part of they have what we call their suit. They have masks and all of those things, special masks that will protect them.
Mm-hmm. So they're good.
They're the PPEs. Right. They have the PPEs. They're provided.
They're good. Yeah.
They're good. Okay. Future now, going forward. Any major plans, Errol Green, for increasing public education in this regard?
Well, I take it that we need to improve what we're doing. So I have a word with our public relations people as I get off the program.
Mm-hmm.
But we, as I said before, we spend quite a bit on public education, both through media, through social media, and we do have our community health aides and parish personnel who go into the communities and sensitize people. As I said before, vector control is not just the fogging.
Yeah.
You know, we do have people who beat the streets, who go and search and destroy, hand out pamphlets and so on. So let us do an evaluation and see how that is working.
As you mentioned, go ahead.
Again, I said it part of it is cultural. Some of it is economical, both from the bee farmers and the persons who the selling of food and so on.
Yeah, and I'm
so
going.
Public education is going to prevent that from happening. We have to just try and work with them and say, look, we're coming in this afternoon at 6 o'clock. Try and make sure that whatever you're doing, just give us an opportunity to do the fogging, and then you can go back to you.
I'm happy you mentioned the bee farmers, because that's exactly where I'm going with this question, because I'm particularly concerned about them and other farmers who are arguing that when the fogging, for example, takes place, it really has a negative impact, or can, on their crops, their livestock. I don't know. How do we deal with that?
Again, the issue is public education. Most bee farms that I know are normally in the bushes and a bit remote. We don't go into the bushes to fog, but we do see instances now where bee farming is urban, in upscale communities. Persons are doing their farming.
What do they do?
But that's going to be a challenge. But that's going to be a challenge for them. That is going to be a challge for them. Because you can't cover up the bees while the fogging is going on. I don't think you can do that.
Yes. So how is that addressed, or how do you plan to address those concerns? Because we have a number of bee farmers cropping up across the island, I gather.
Yes, and as I said before, it is more urban now. You'd be surprised to know the amount of bee farming that is taking place in upscale communities, in Norbrook and places like that. I really just don't know how you deal with that, but we have to look at the benefit of the entire society, or the majority of the society.
Okay, the greater good. Professor Reed, you perhaps have the final word.
All I would say is that to deal with that, while we can't deal with that in the immediacy, but the future technologies in terms of what we're saying, other techniques apart from fogging, is really going to be the medium-term solution for those issues.
Yes. And as you mentioned, solution, if persons are affected negatively by the fogging, for example, right, respiratory illnesses and all of that, what you advise them to do? They are affected by it, they're not breathing properly, all that. What are some of the things you want to suggest to them quickly?
The hospital or the health center.
Yeah, Professor Reed.
Typically, if they're having an acute attack, usually it's more of an allergy kind of stuff. The asthma folks may go in a bit of shortness of breath. It's really just to use their medications to make sure that they have their medications available.
And of course,
if they're having water eyes and stuff, they can wash it out with water, that sort of a thing.
And of course, if it increases, they should go to their health provider, healthcare clinic, and all of that, doctors and so on, as soon as possible.
And we are trying to tell them not to run behind the fogger and play anywhere near the fogger. They should be all right.
Yes. And of course, advising them to stop stoning the vector control workers. Please. Thank you so very much, gentlemen.
Definitely.
Thank you so very much for having us, Rev.
Yes.
Yes,
and
really appreciate this opportunity.
Yes, and all the best as we seek to continue to develop and improve the health sector in Jamaica. Have a safe and productive day.
Okay, sir. That's good. Bye.
Thank you much.
Great. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. For information how to get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-959627. This, of course, has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Yashika Nevers, and our guests. Please join Mr. Stokely Marshall next week as he continues to look at the issues of the day. I'm Dylan Toussaint, reminding you to be purposeful, faithful, thankful, and watchful as I hand you back to Love in the Morning with Jokal Dyer.